Tayton, first, congratulations getting the first playing time last year. What was that like? I mean, I'm sure Coach Bull said last week you're probably going to get a look in practice. So, when were you told you're probably going to at least make the trip and maybe play? What was, just kind of take me back through that if you could.
So I got the call or the text Sunday, and it was actually, I got it from our strength staff, and I was told that I was supposed to start eating more and keeping up with my nutrition a little more because I was expected to have an impact in the game, And so I was at home actually in Cheyenne when I got the text, and I was like, this could possibly be the wrong person, but Coach Duvall had mentioned my name, so I told him I'd be back as soon as I can. So I sat down with the strength staff and our nutritionist Chase, and just talked about how to keep my body up to par when I'm actually playing and going through practices a little bit more intensely. And then my position coach met with me and told me that certain things have been happening, and it was kind of my time getting called up, and they expect me to be ready to go. So that whole week I was kind of just making sure I was ready to make the impact, given the opportunity. My name was called to actually be in the game. So the whole week it was not as much physically, but it was just all about mentally getting back to game speed where I was in fall camp.
I mean, honestly, Tayton, did you really expect to get that call at this point in your career? I mean, not to say you wouldn't have ever got it, but did you expect it going into the 5th game of the season as a true freshman? Did you really expect it?
I didn't. I kind of thought I had a bigger chance coming out of fall camp, but then once they made that decision, I respected that. Obviously, I'm here to help however I can, and so that is 4 years later, not this year, but 4 years later, then I was prepared to do that. So getting that call, my mindset just had to flip from how to help the team, not just preparing our defense, but now preparing myself.
Right. So how has that preparation changed? I mean, you talked about like your nutrition, and the nutritionist wants you to how to maintain. I mean, what was last week like? Just getting ready for game plans and physically and eating more, whatever. Just take me through what was last week like for you compared to the first 4.
I thought the first month of games, the first 4 games, I was busy, but last week was a whole nother level. I had to step up how often I was eating, how much I was eating, how often I was here at the meetings, locker room, training table. Everything had to be upped in order to be prepared. So I think the biggest thing was just meetings. You have to meet with every coach, special teams, to your position coaches, just to make sure you're where you are, so everyone knows their job.
Was it fun? Was it taxing? A little bit of everything? What was that like?
I was pretty nervous. I'll admit it. I was pretty nervous, but at a certain point you have to put everything aside and realize what you have to do. The only person that knows where you are mentally and physically is yourself. And so I knew where I was. I knew I had a good feeling for the offense. I just had to get back to not thinking so much, but reacting. So.
Right. Where are you at physically? What is your weight? I think they list you at 168 pounds or something. Where are you at right now physically?
I was like 165.
Okay.
5'11", so.
Right.
Chase and I have been talking about we're trying to gain weight throughout the season. During season, he wants most of his players to just be maintaining weight. With me, obviously the weight's kind of the only thing holding me back right now.
Sure.
So I'm trying to eat as much as I can to keep making gains throughout practice.
So talk about you're in the game at App State. You catch a pass. Take me through that. I know it's just one pass. Hopefully one of many to come for you. But take me through that play. Were you the attended guy? Did it work out? Kind of take me through the play, and what was it like when they called your number to go out there? What was going through your mind?
By that point, I had run a couple of plays, so I wasn't as much in awe as going out.
Sure.
So for the first play, I realized, well, now I'm not a redshirt. That's put aside. I'm playing. And so by that time, I was getting comfortable with how things were going, breaking the huddle, tempo, and everything. So I didn't think the play. It was 3rd and long. It was like 3rd and 13, so I had the shallow route across the middle. I didn't intentionally think I was going to get the ball because it was I thought he would take a longer shot just because it would get a better chance. But then once I saw him kind of scrambling around, I didn't really feel anyone around me. I kind of thought I had a chance, so I just tried to make the best out of it. He kind of made a good play. So.
Sure. Obviously from fall camp and even working in the summer to get here, what do you think some of the biggest things you've been able to do to put yourself in the position you're in right now?
All the coaches preach is just working hard. Coaches throughout the country probably preach, it's not what you do in front of coaches, but also what they don't see. And I think I try my hardest to do that, where it's eating or lifting weights or studying my playbook, I just try to give it all. Just let the coaches make that decision to know that I went out leaving them with that's working. That's
Right.
what they're going to get.
Right.
So
How would the older guys too maybe kind of help you, like Tanner and Jake, or even the other freshmen that are battling for playing time? What's all that been like?
They all have obviously been in this position already, so they knew me getting the call now that I would have the first game nerves, whether they had those a month ago. So Joe and James have helped me out a lot, being freshmen themselves, to know how it feels like, and so they were helping me prepare a lot. Tanner and Jake have been great, just because it's no effort for them to know the offense. So
Right.
they sometimes whisper help, and it's reassuring for sure.
Not that any of this stuff is easy, but now that you've been through it for a week, do you think it'll be a little smoother for you this week? Just kind of knowing what to expect a little bit more as opposed to last week. What are your thoughts on that?
I think this week I'm not as nervous. I know how it's going to be like traveling, how it is in the locker room, meetings. So I got my schedule down again. I had to kind of remake how my days go. Different responsibilities, I have to be in different places, so I have to feel for how my life's going to be now. And so I think that helps a lot, not having to rush everywhere to know when I can relax and when it needs to be, when I need to get going a lot more. And so I think this week will be a lot smoother just because I'll just be more comfortable and not as nervous.